Hi everyone, we are the Hong Kong Hamburgers, and today we want to welcome a special guest, Wong Yik Mo, the Vice Convener of Civil Human Rights Front from Hong Kong. Welcome to Hamburg.
Hello.
So we all know that Carrie Lam just announced that the bill is now officially withdrawn. And what's your opinion on it?
Right. This is we think the withdrawal of the bill is too late. It's too little, as we always say. Should she withdraw the bill 3 months ago, then the 9 people wouldn't have to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
More than 1,000 people don't have to be arrested, and 100 people don't have to be charged, and countless people don't have to be injured by the police. So we think this is too late. Hong Kong has changed. We have 5 demands instead of just one.
Mm-hmm.
So if Carrie Lam doesn't fulfill other 4 demands, then this complete withdrawal of the bill would be too little, because Hong Kong has changed tremendously. The police violence has escalated to the level that international community will not keep silence. So if we don't have independent commission of inquiry, if we don't change the police, we don't stop police violence, then Hong Kong still has no future.
Other than announcing the bill is now withdrawn, Carrie Lam also appointed 2 new members to the Independent Police Complaint Council. So can we really take this as a replacement of the Independent Commission Inquiry?
Right. In Hong Kong, there's within the system, there's a body called CAPO, Complaint Against Police Council, which is run by the police. And well, this council has the power to investigate, but then it's run by the police. So in the past years, we have proven that CAPO is useless. And then the government will tell you, but now we have IPCC, it's Independent Police Complaint Council. So with IPCC, the system is complete. But let me tell you what, IPCC has no mandate. It doesn't even have the right, the power to summon policemen. It can only give suggestions to CAPO, which means IPCC is also useless. And on top of this, most members of the IPCC are pro-Beijing persons, and therefore we don't trust IPCC. And that is exactly why we want an independent commission of inquiry, because the 2 existing councils are not working. And only with an independent commission of inquiry led by a senior judge will really have the mandate to investigate into what has really happened, about the police decisions, about violence used by the police in police stations, and such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like right now, so far there's only 1 demand out of 5 actually answered by the government, and a lot of people worries about. A lot of people actually complained Hong Kong with Xinjiang, and now we know we have smart lamppost with facial recognition functions in Hong Kong, and also with this new Hong Kong ID cards with this RFID function. So the surveillance level, we can obviously expect it will be like raising to a level that can we have a direct comparison between Hong Kong and Xinjiang? How bad are we in terms of being surveillance and losing freedom?
Right, first of all, I have to correct you, because Carrie Lam, our chief executive, she has formally said that the government has already responded to our 5 demands. But there's a difference between responding and accepting. So actually the government refused to accept our demands. And this also shows their attitude. Well, in Hong Kong, we do see the smart lamppost and some face recognition systems. And of course, our new ID cards, it has RFID function. China or Hong Kong, they always try to convey things in a way that we are modern, we are building a smart city, and everything has to be high tech, and they have to collect big data. But I think anyone aware of the world trend, global trend, will know that big data is actually dangerous. Take an example of Shenzhen. They have a social credibility system, and their surveillance is very serious. Not to mention Xinjiang. I think with a complete comparison with Xinjiang and Hong Kong, of course we're not there yet. Maybe we can compare ourselves with Shenzhen or other cities in China, where they have no freedom, they're being censored every day. Even crossing the street, jaywalking, could lead them to a deduction of credits, social credits. But then, never say never. In Hong Kong, we see the deterioration being accelerated, and we don't know when we are going to become Shenzhen. Or maybe we'll skip this step, we'll become Xinjiang directly, if people keep protesting. Because, China is very afraid of people. China wants stability. China doesn't like dissidents. By saying this, of course, we hope China wouldn't do this to Hong Kong, because by destroying China's only international city, Hong Kong, it will only bring harm to Hong Kong and to China.
So you just mentioned there is still a distance from the current situation between Hong Kong and Xinjiang. But do you think the Emergency Ordinance Act will be one way, as you said, allow the government to skip this gradual deterioration and then make it happen right away from Hong Kong today to a future Hong Kong, which is like Xinjiang? And do you think what's the chances, based on your evaluation, that the Hong Kong government will enforce this Emergency Ordinance Act in Hong Kong?
Right. In emergency ordinance will bring harm to Hong Kong. I think the government currently, they are trying to threaten Hong Konger. But even without implementing this ordinance in Hong Kong, the situation is not far from that. In the police, they check, they conduct body check and check IDs of citizens in metro stations or even on buses. They body search pupils outside of school. They are waiting for the pupils outside of their schools, and they chase after students. If they find things that can be associated with protests, for example, mask, which is a very normal thing. I bring it every day. Yeah. The air quality is very bad. There's tear gas in the air. So even bringing a mask to school, they can bring trouble to you. The police can arrest you. So do you think this is far from having an emergency ordinance? Do you think this is far from curfew? People are afraid of going out. People don't have the freedom to take public transportations. In metro, they can be blocked by police officers. simply because many people oppose them. So they shut the gate and they don't let passengers get out of the station. On buses, they target some buses, like if they see any live video streaming, they might get on the bus and check the IDs of the passengers. I mean, what kind of international city is that? You don't call it curfew? But of course the government, they have not announced a curfew. But what they do is really very similar to curfew, which they use to deter the protesters and to deter the citizens, to split us, to give pressure on the citizens, to tell them, to tell the protesters to stop.